Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is part 21 for step-by-step guide to learn Angular and part 3 for JWT authentication in Angular. So in the previous video, we created a API and we implemented JWT authentication and we created the bearer token. So in this video, we are going to work on our login screen. And these are the topics we are going to cover in this complete video series. And this is our to-do application which we are developing in this complete video series. So let's start. So step one is we need some validation because currently we don't have any validation for valid email or the required field. So we need to implement validation and we will follow the same pattern what we did in the registration form using a template driven form. So similar to this, like we disabled this register button, and if I'm entering something and if I'm removing it, so I'm getting this red smiley. Similar to that, I'm going to use that validation in our login form. So I'm not going to explain that. If you did not go through that video, so you can find the link in the description block from video 9 onwards. You can follow for that for validation. So for this validation, I created one interface that's called login under the login folder, which contains email and password. And here in the login component.html, I added this form tag and I added this submit method. And here I added this required and pattern for valid email address. And if it is not valid, then I am showing this message. And if it is required, then I'm showing the above message. And if email is not valid, then I'm showing this message. And similar to that, I added this required keyword here. And if it is not valid, I'm showing this invalid message. And also in the button, I added this disabled property. So if form is not valid, our login button will be disabled. And I'm going to remove this click event from here. Also, we are using this property login view model. So in the component, I initialize this property. So here I declared this login view model, which is a type of our login interface, and in on init I am initializing it. So that's all for our validation. Let's save all our changes and see if validation is working. So yeah, yes, initially my login button is invalid. If I am uh, adding something and removing and coming out, then I can see please enter username. If I am giving some invalid email, so I can see it saying invalid email, please enter valid email, and let's give some valid email. So it's working now, and let's enter some password and remove this. So I should see please enter password, and let's give some password. So this is working now. So first I'm creating a security folder, and let's go to security on terminal. And now I'm generating a service that's called security service, and let's verify this. And I'm creating a view model that's called security model.obj. So this security model should have same properties what we are having in the API. So let's copy from API. So this is our user authentication object, so I'm going to copy this and paste it here. And now let's create one interface that's called security model, and let's add all the properties: username, string type, then is authenticated should be boolean, and bearer token should be string, and can access to do will be boolean, can access dashboard will be boolean, and can access admin will be boolean. So now let's go to account service, and I'm going to copy this AP URL and constructor. Now let's go back to our service and paste it here. Now let's remove this constructor and add this import statement. Yeah, this one also. And now let's go back, and here I'm copying this post method and let's paste it here. And this model should be our login model, and This should be our security model return type, and let's add import for observable, for login, and as well for security model, and also for this HTTP headers. Yeah, and this return type should be our security model. So let's copy security model and paste it here. Now next step is I am going to create one object that's called security model, and I am going to use pipe here in the observable. So the response what we are getting from the after login, that I'm going to assign that response to our security model object. So let's start. So I'm going to pipe and I'm going to use tape operator here. Let's import tape, and then here as I'm going to assign security model, so I can use object dot assign, and first we need to pass the target. The target is our security model, and then the source. So source is our result, what we are getting from our API. So after assigning that in the security model, now I need to check if authenticated is true in the security model class. So if it is true, then I'm going to store that token in session storage. So let's check first. So if this dot security model dot is authenticated is true, then I'm going to use session storage, and I'm going to use that set item which is having two parameters. First parameter is a key which can be anything, any string key. So I am going as a token uh, to do bearer token as a key. And what should be the value? Value should be our that security model dot bearer token. So let's this dot security model dot bearer token, and let's save this. So now I'm going to create one more method that's called a clear security model, and here I will clear our security model object. So let's assign each properties. Username should be empty string, is authenticated should be false, and bearer token should be empty string, and can access to do should be clear, and can access dashboard, and can access uh, admin, this should be false, and this also should be false. Let's save this. So now we have cleared all our object, and now I'm going to create one method that's called logout, and here first I will call clear object method, and second I will remove our session storage bearer token. So we need to pass copy the key from here, and let's paste it here. And also I'm going to call this clear security model if is authenticated equals to false. Yeah, and I should add this here. Let's save this. Now I need to inject this security service model to our component. So I hope you know we are injecting in the constructor. And let's import security service. And here I am going to call the method which we created. So it's save user registration. So we need to rename it to login. So let's go back and rename this method to login method, and let's come back and call our login method, and inside that we need to pass our login view model. So let's pass that, and let's subscribe to this method, and if we see our service, so when we get error, we are returning the error when user is invalid. So I am going to use our error object here, and here I am just keeping this alert invalid username or password. And if it is a valid user, so let's navigate to a home page, and instead of hard coded I'm adding this username here. Let's save this. And one more change we need to make in our security service. uh, when we are assigning this security service model, so initially it would be undefined. So we should call the clear method before assigning that security service model. So let's call our clear method. So this dot clear security model. So this will clear this method and initialize the default values for our security view model. Now it's time to run our application. So let's type command ng serve and enter. And let's click on this link, control plus mouse click. So it's opening our application. Now let me enter some invalid email and let me enter some password and let's submit. So it is not working. So any idea, any guess why it is not working? Because we are submitting our form, and to submit the form this button should be a submit button, but currently we are having a button type, so we need to change that submit button to that button type to submit button. So let's quickly make this change. So now I'm changing this button to input type submit. So let's start, and your type should be submit. Let's save this and let's go back to our browser. Now giving some invalid email and password and submit, so I can see invalid username and password. Now we are having one entry in the database with the valid email is dubetapan12@gmail.com and password is 12345. So now I should navigate to home page. So let's click on submit and it's navigated to home page. And let's verify we are having values in the session storage or not. So click on F12 button on your keyboard, and in the Chrome browser application window you can go to session storage, and here you can see our key is to do bearer token, and our bearer token JWT token is stored in the session storage. So after storing a token, if you remember, we added some claims like can access dashboard, can access to do, can access admin. For example, if you have one more link with admin, so if user is able to visit that or not. So for that we stored a claim for each user. So now let's use our claim and see if we can disable or hide our links based on the claim. So let's start. To get this security model across the component, I'm going to change this with the get insight, and let's change this to private, and let's add this get method and return this security model object. Similar to that, let's add set method and let's set our value security model, and that's all. Now to hide our link, so I need to go to home component and let's inject our security service here. So private security service, and let's import it. And now I need one variable. This should be similar to our security model. So let's copy it and paste it here. Let's import, and now let's assign this security model equals to security service dot security model. And let's go back to our HTML page. Here I'm adding condition if security model dot, we can see different properties, so I'm going to use to do here. So let's copy can access to do and paste it here, and let's copy this and paste this for dashboard. Let's copy dashboard here, can access dashboard, and paste it here, and let's save this. So now I came back to our application and let's log in with the valid user 12345 and click on submit. So still I can see dashboard and to do because for this user both the values are true. So let's go back to database and let's manually check can access to do to false, and let's see if our changes are working or not. So let's open SQL Server Manager Studio. So this is our user details table. We can see only one user is there, which is having ID 17. So let's see values in user claims. So I can see can access to do is true and can access dashboard is also true. So let's manually update this to false. So let's copy user claims and I'm writing update user claims set claim value equals to 0 where claim ID equals to 1. So let's update this and now I should see false for to do. So my user is not having access to do, so I should not see to do link. So let's go back to our browser. Here let's go back to our login screen. So let's remove this, enter, uh, and here let's give same email ID. It's dubey12@gmail.com and password is 12345 and click on submit. So now I can see on the dashboard I am not able to see to do. Similar to that, if I will have admin link, so I can set my claim file, so I will not have access to that link. So this is a very small application. In the big application, we will have multiple links, so we can set our claim value, and based on that, we can organize our application. So now after login, for example, I want to show my user details on this page. But if you recall the previous video, so we added authorize keyword on our user details page, and only valid user, which is having our JWT token, can see the details. So now how can we get the details? So let's get the user details and show that JSON in our dashboard. So first let's go to our account service and let's copy this get user emails method and come back to security service and let's paste it here, change this name to user details and change this to any array and here also any array, and let's change the URL with the correct one and let's save this. Now copy this service name and go back to our dashboard component and let's inject our security service method here and let's add one property with any array type and let's assign in on init method with the this dot security service model dot subscribe, and here I am going to assign our user details object. Let's save this. Now let's copy this user details object here and let's open our HTML page, and here before this step set I am going to show this details, so I am going to use interpolation here. So this is a syntax and let's paste it here and I am going to use JSON pipe here, so this will display our JSON. So let's add JSON here and let's save this. Now let's log in and what do you think, will we able to see our user details JSON in our application or not? Let's see. So I logged in and I'm not able to see it, and it's correct also because what I want is in my API whoever will provide me a valid token, I will give back user details to that person, to that request. So here we did not pass our bearer token to our API, so because of that we are not getting the results. So where will we pass our token? Yes, in our HTTP headers. So let's pass a bearer token to our HTTP headers and let's see after that we are able to get a record or not. Now let's open our security service and let's copy this header options and paste it here. And now let's change this to authorization and let's pass our bearer token here. So it should be prefixed with bearer, then space, and then let's use our security model object. So in under the security model object, we are having bearer token here, and let's pass this HTTP options to our URL. Let's save this. Now I came back to our application and let's go back to our login. So this time I'm expecting our JSON object. So let's go back to our login now. Let's use our valid email ID and password is 12345 and click on submit. So yeah, this time I can see our JSON. But there is one problem. Suppose we are having a 20 or 30 request. So each time I need to add this repeated code and each time I need to add this. So how can I avoid this? Yes, we are having one option that's called HTTP interceptor. So my interceptor will inject this header for each HTTP request. So that we are going to see in the next video. But before I end, I have one question for you. Let's quickly go to our home component. And here, if you will see, we are using this private security service here, and we are assigning this security model from this security service to our variable. So instead, why can't we use this security service directly in our HTML, and why we are assigning this locally in this variable? So just try to change your code and assign directly the security service in our HTML in the ngIf condition. So instead of security model, you will add this like security service dot security model dot can access to do, and similar to that security service model dot security service dot security model dot can access dashboard. And if you will do that, so let's see what happen. If you will open your console, you will get the answer why you are not able to access that. So I would be very happy if you can provide just try that, and if you can give a comment in the video what you found. That's all for this video. We'll see you with the next video, and we will add a HTTP interceptor to our to-do application. Thank you for watching.